Hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. A spiritual user manual for life. This channel is dedicated to reading, unpacking, and analyzing the text section of the book, A Course in Miracles. The objective of the book is to help us retrain our minds to its proper use. This way we become more enlightened spiritually, use our minds in a more conscious manner, enjoy greater fulfillment of our pursuits, have the resources to face whatever challenges and problems we encounter, regardless of the form they take. It provides in-depth knowledge on the workings of the mind, thoughts, their power, our emotions, and will. How they all come together to create our reality, individually and collectively. The sparkly version of the book is used to distinguish between the text and my commentary. The word text will precede the text. The word comments will precede the commentary. Knowledge is also drawn from the Seth books of Jane Roberts. If this is of interest to you, this is the channel for you. This video is for the section in Chapter 2, The Correction for Lack of Love. This is Part B. It provides further insights to the mechanics of the mind. The focus on fear continues. How, due to ignorance, we evoke it. What we can do to resolve and eliminate it. How the cause and effect principle works in all of this. Let's begin. Text. You who constantly complain about fear still persist in creating it. I told you before that you cannot ask me to release you from fear because I know it does not exist, but you do not. If I merely intervened between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with a basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is in this world. I would hardly help if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. It is much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully, except for a small part of the day, and somewhat inconsistently even then. You may feel at this point that it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true. Comments. A common mistake that most of us make when we ask for help, through prayer or advice, is to ask for solutions to the effects of a problem. Usually we are in such compromised states at those times. We ask for whatever will provide us the quickest relief. What we should really ask for is assistance to identify the cause of the effects, its source, which is always to be found in the contents of our minds. Once identified, the necessary corrections can be made. The effects will then go away. This is how cause and effect work. The cause is the decisions we make using our mental resources, our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and will. The effects are the experiences that flow from these decisions. Change the cause. Its effects will change. Sometimes it can be difficult to connect the two, as there is usually a time lag between the two. A more likely reason we fail to make the connection. They tend to have undesirable effects and evoke fear within us. No sane person that loves themselves would knowingly do that to themselves. This is a consequence of not paying attention to what goes on in our minds. We are particular about what we eat, the clothes we wear, how we look, the well-being of our bodies, the cars we drive, where we live, how we maintain our homes, all the physical aspects that cater to our egos. When it comes to the mind, almost anything goes. We consume all sorts of ideas. We get them from a variety of sources: history, tradition, culture, religion, relationships, media. Social media is a very popular source. It has a wide, almost instantaneous reach with all sorts of content. All are able to contribute to it. The more scandalous, sensational, and confrontational the content, the more popular it is. Some of these ideas turn into beliefs. All of these contribute to creating our reality. This is the cause and effect principle in action. Text. Men are not used to miraculous thinking, but they can be trained to think that way. All miracle workers need that kind of training. I cannot let them leave their minds unguarded or they will not be able to help me. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought and real avoidance of miscreation. Otherwise, a miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight, a circular process which would hardly foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. Nor would it induce the healthy respect for true cause and effect which every miracle worker must have. Comments. This course is about mind training. Retraining to be exact, as we've trained ourselves to use it the wrong way for a very long time. This requires we learn some basics about the mind. Thoughts have power. Our beliefs and emotions flow from them. There are laws that govern their use. Our will is our determination. Our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and will combine to manifest our reality. Consideration of the cause and effect principle should always be included in all our decision-making deliberations. This retraining is not optional. It is required of all of us. The sooner we start the retraining, the sooner we can start enjoying preferred, desirable, loving effects, while minimizing to the point of eliminating those we fear. Text. Both miracles and fear come from thoughts, and if you were not free to choose one, you would also not be free to choose the other. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear. You have been afraid of God, of me, of yourselves, and of practically everyone you know at one time or another. This is because you have misperceived or miscreated us, and believe in what you have made. You would never have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The vulnerable are essentially miscreators because they misperceive creation. You persist in believing that, when you do not consciously watch your mind, it is unmindful. It is time, however, to consider the whole world of the unconscious or unwatched mind. This may well frighten you because it is the source of fear. The unwatched mind is responsible for the whole content of the unconscious, which lies above the miracle level. All psychoanalytic theorists have made some contribution in this connection, but none of them has seen it in its true entirety. They have all made one common error in that they attempted to uncover unconscious content. You cannot understand unconscious activity in these terms because content is applicable only to the more superficial unconscious levels, to which the individual himself contributes. This is the level at which he can readily introduce fear, and usually does. Dominance. As we start the journey of retraining our minds, the first step is to look into our minds to see what is going on. What most of us see is a stream of thoughts flowing through our minds with minimal input from us. When we try to exert any sort of control, our efforts seem to be ignored. It's like our thoughts have a mind of their own. This is because, in our ignorance, we do not exercise the correct training or discipline on how we use our minds. Our thoughts are allowed free rein in their flow. A mental habit is formed. These free-flowing, unwatched thoughts then filter down into that unknown part of our minds, where they are used as input to manifest the reality we experience, many times not to our liking. This is why retraining is necessary. Through meditation, we learn to quiet our minds, regain control over our thoughts. This must be done peacefully, gently, and patiently. We've unknowingly practiced poor mental habits for quite a while. The retraining will take some time. Consistency and persistence will get it done. Text. When man miscreates, he is in pain. The cause and effect principle here is temporarily a real expediter. Actually, cause is a term properly belonging to God, and effect, which should also be capitalized, is his sum. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships which are totally different from those which man introduced into his own miscreations. The fundamental opponents in the real basic conflict are creation and miscreation. All fear is implicit in the second, just as all love is inherent in the first. Because of this difference, the basic conflict is one between love and fear. Dominance. The various experiences we have in our daily lives are designed to help us learn of our spirituality, the laws of creation, and the workings of the mind. In doing so, we created a physical reality that attempts to replicate a higher level of creation we are vaguely aware of. However, in our spiritual ignorance, we did not include the same laws, understanding, and love. We ended up with thought systems, societies, institutions that contradict what we are trying to replicate. Consider the cause and effect principle. It includes the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or, what you give you will receive. The cause is the mental decisions we make and act on. It is the doing or giving part. The effect is the manifestation of those decisions. The receiving or what others do to us. This applies to everything. There are no exceptions. Give love, you will receive love. Give hate, you will receive hate. Applying this principle to all our decision-making processes, would result in radical changes in all we do. Text. It has already been said that man believes he cannot control fear because he himself created it. His belief in it seems to render it out of his control by definition. Yet any attempt to resolve the basic conflict through the concept of mastery of fear is meaningless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the simple assumption that it need be mastered. The essential resolution rests entirely on the mastery of love. In the interim, the sense of conflict is inevitable, since man has placed himself in a strangely illogical position. He believes in the power of what does not exist. Dominance. Here, we go back to the cause and effect principle. Fear is an undesirable emotional effect we all experience, and would very much like to avoid. To resolve and eliminate it, we must first identify its source, the cause. This is found in our thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. We improve them by being more conscious of our thoughts and beliefs, be more deliberate, conscientious, and considerate of others in our decisions. Accept responsibility for the effects of our decisions. Seek and correct the errors of our mental contents. These changes will improve the causes we choose and the effects they produce. This is how we achieve mastery of love. This is the atonement plan in action. As always, our task is to put these ideas to the test. Determine if they are valid and reliable. My experiences have proven that they are. However, each of us must come to that realization in our own time and space. Thanks again for joining me on this journey. If you've gotten any value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe.